Hello, I'm Mark Lobel. The UN has renewed calls for both sides in Sudan to fully abide by a 3-day ceasefire and to allow access to humanitarian workers. But renewed fighting is threatening the 72-hour truce. Violence broke out on the western outskirts of Omdurman, a city across the Nile from the city Khartoum. But much of central Khartoum remains calm, and thousands of Sudanese and foreign nationals are still trying to get out of the country. And as they flee, they're making treacherous journeys. Residents are struggling to get clean water and other vital supplies, and warplanes are still flying overhead. Tens of thousands of Sudanese are trying to reach neighbouring Chad, Egypt and South Sudan. And those left behind say they fear the world is abandoning them. Meanwhile, Britons are being told to go to an airbase about 20 miles outside of the capital Khartoum, from where they're being flown to safety in Cyprus. Thousands of other people have left on other flights, or by road or ship. Or Simon Jones has the latest.
Back on British soil, escaping the conflict. Hundreds of people have now left Sudan as part of the British evacuation mission. But the clock is ticking for many more UK nationals still in the country wanting to get out. At Stansted Airport, the relief of families reunited was clear. Stories to recount of the terrifying journey to get to evacuation flights near the capital, Khartoum.
It's difficult to say how stomach churning it was. You know, you lose appetite, you're just constantly in stress, you don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to make it? Am I going to... It was glad by the time we got to the airport and we saw the British forces, the British planes, it was very, very tension relieving.
And there are thoughts for those left behind.
We just thank God for Salama for bringing us here, and we just pray that everyone back home is safe and, everything becomes better.
Some fear their loved ones might never return.
Yeah, it's a very terrible experience, but
you must be so happy to have them back.
Of course.
This is what they're escaping. Khartoum scarred by heavy fighting. The fragile ceasefire is due to end tonight. The British government says it can't guarantee how many further evacuation flights will be able to depart once that happens. The international community is calling for an end to the violence.
The bloodshed we have seen over the past 10 days in Sudan is heartbreaking. In a country whose people have already suffered so much in recent years. WHO welcomes the ceasefire agreed between the parties. We urge all parties to fully respect it.
Questions still remain about the speed of the British response, and there are now fears the airfield near Khartoum being used by the RAF is starting to break up because of the number of planes that have been using it, adding yet more uncertainty to an already volatile situation. Simon Jones, BBC News.